Here I'm going to go over graphing inequalities to help you with the specific questions you're going to see on the Khan Academy. So this is a type of question you're going to see, and if you notice, the lines are all in the same place. You really just need to pay attention to whether the line should be solid or dashed, and whether you're shading above or below the line. And you can't just tell that when it's in this format. It needs to be in slope-intercept form. Because when we place it in slope-intercept form, we might have to flip that inequality symbol. So let's solve for y. Let's move everything away from the y. So first I'm going to add 3x to both sides. And when you're adding, you don't flip the sign. Notice instead of writing 2 plus 3x, I wrote 3x plus 2, so it's closer to the slope-intercept form over here. Now, to get y by itself, I'm going to divide by -4. You need to divide this whole side by -4. When you divide by a negative number, that does flip the sign. And on the right side, this is 3x divided by -4, and then also 2 divided by -4. And when you simplify that, that's -3/4 x, and 2 divided by -4 is -0.5. So we can see now that the y-intercept is -0.5, and you can see that on each of these graphs. And the slope is -3/4. Notice that these are all negative slopes. So now, in order to identify the solution, we really just care about that symbol. Notice that our inequality symbol is greater than or equal to. Since it is equal to, that means it is going to be a solid line. And since it's greater than, we're going to shade above that line. So the answer is this third one. This is another type of question you're going to see, and there's lots of steps in order to find the inequality that's represented in this graph. First, we just want to write the equation of that line. So we're going to follow these steps over here on the top right by identifying the y-intercept. So where does the line cross the y-axis? 3. And what is the slope? Slope is rise over run. And notice our slope is negative because our line is going down, and we're going down 2 and over 3. So our slope is -2/3, rise over run. Now if we put that into this format, we have the beginning of our inequality. So y equals the slope -2/3 x plus the y-intercept, which is a +3. So I'm going to put +3. If it was negative, I'd put minus. So now that we have that, we need to change this to an inequality because it's not equals. So if it is a solid line, it would be greater than or equal to, or less than or equal to. If it's a dashed line, we use the greater than or the less than. And notice we do have a dashed line. So we know it's going to either be greater than or less than. And then as far as shading, if you shade above, it's greater than or less than. If we shaded below, it would have been less than or equal to. So it is dashed, so there's no line, it's not equal to, and it's shaded above. So it would be greater than. Let's try one more. So again, first we want to come up with the equation of our line by first identifying the y-intercept, which is -1, and then our slope is rise over run. And this is a positive slope because it's going up, so it is positive, and we're going up 1 over 1, so 1 over 1, which is just 1. So now that we have our y-intercept and our slope, we put it into this format to write the equation of our line. So our slope is 1, and our y-intercept is -1. So we can rewrite that as, we don't need that coefficient in front of the x if it is positive or if it is 1. So this is just the same as 1x, Instead of plus -1, I'm just going to say -1. So now that we have this equation of this line, we want to change this to the inequality, because it's not just the solutions on the line, it's everything down below. Notice that this is a solid line, so it's going to have that equal sign with it. It's going to be greater than or equal to, or less than or equal to. And we are shading below that line, so it's going to be a less than. So this is equal to, and then it is less than. So this is the inequality represented in this graph.